Within seconds, Percy and Annabeth had already passed the Ares and Hermes chariot. When they had one last lap to go, they were neck to neck with the Hephaestus chariot. Beckendorf threw a small pouch into their chariot. Instantly, green smoke sprayed from out of the pouch. "It's Greek fire!" Annabeth shouted. "You can't put it out with water or a fire extinguisher." They should have known. Just because Beckendorf was one of the more nicer campers didn't mean he'd cut them slack in the camp games. Then Percy remembered the watch. He still didn't know how it could help him, but he hit the button, and instantly the watch changed. It opened up and expanded into a 4-foot wide shield. Tyson had definitely come through. Percy raised his shield, and Beckendorf's blade shattered on impact. "What the—" He didn't get to finish because Percy knocked him in the head and he fell out of his chariot. Percy threw the Greek fire pouch out of the chariot just in time before it exploded. They crossed the finish line and won first place. Their friends started chanting their names, but Annabeth shouted over the noise and got their attention. "Wait, stop! It wasn't just us," she shouted. "We couldn't have won without someone else. We couldn't have won this race, or survived the quest, or get the fleece, or saved Grover, or anything. We owe our lives to Tyson. Percy's, brother," Percy said. "Tyson, my baby brother." Tyson smiled and blushed. Then Annabeth surprisingly planted a kiss on Percy's cheek. Then the campers picked up Percy and Annabeth and tried to lift Tyson and carried them to the winner's platform where Chiron was waiting to bestow them laurel wreaths. That day had to be one of the happiest ones Percy had ever spent at camp, which may go to show you never know when your world is about to rock to pieces. Later, Grover said that he was awarded the rest of the summer off before resuming his quest for Pan. He said his bosses never felt so impressed to see a satyr make it off of Polyhemus's island alive and with the fleece. Then he told Percy he could dissolve the empathy link between them now that they were face to face. But Percy told him he liked to keep it if that was okay with him. "But Percy, it's dangerous," Grover said. "If I ever get killed, you could die along with me." "If you ever get kidnapped again, I want to know about it, and I'll come and rescue you again," said Percy. "I wouldn't have it any other way, G-Man." In the end, he agreed not to break the link and went back to playing his new reed pipes his bosses awarded him with. He seemed out of practice. Later, Chiron told Percy he had fixed the problem with Merryweather Prep. Chiron said he could manipulate the mist, and he made everyone think it was just a furnace explosion that was not Percy's fault. He also told Percy he could teach him how to manipulate the mist himself one day, when he was ready. "So, I can go back next year?" Percy asked. "Oh no, you're still expelled," said Chiron. "Your headmaster, Mr. Bonsai, said you had, how did he put it, ungroovy karma that disrupted the school's educational aura. But you're not in any legal trouble, which was a relief for your mother. And speaking of your mother..." He pulled out his cell phone and handed it to Percy. "It's high time you called her," he said. The worst part was the beginning, which were the, "Percy Jackson, what were you thinking of sneaking off to camp without permission and going on dangerous quests? Do you have any idea how much you scare me half to death?" parts he stood through hearing. But finally, she paused to catch her breath. "Oh, I'm just so glad you're safe." That's the great thing about his mom. It wasn't in her nature to stay mad. She already knew the consequences of being the mother of a demigod. She would have known from meeting his dad. Then he apologized to her and said goodbye. He knew they would just find another school for him, like always. As for Tyson, the campers treated him like a hero. Percy would have been happy to have him as a cabin mate forever, but later that day, Percy met him at the beach, and he told Percy something real shocking.
"Dream came from Daddy last night," he said. "He wants me to visit."
Percy wondered if he was kidding, but Tyson didn't really know how to make jokes. "Poseidon sent you a dream message?" he asked Tyson.
"Yes, he wants me to go underwater for the rest of the summer, learn to work at Cyclops forges. He called it an intern.
An internship? Percy asked.
Yes.
Percy had to admit he did feel a little jealous. Poseidon had never invited him underwater, and he thought Tyson was going just like that. "So, when do you leave?" he asked.
"Right now,"
Tyson said. "Oh, well, I'm happy for you, big guy. Really," Percy said.
"Hard to leave my new brother," Tyson said, "but I want to make things, weapons for the camp. You will need them."
Unfortunately, Percy knew he was right. The fleece had only restored their protection at camp and not solved all their problems. Luke was still out there, building an army. Kronos was still reforming, and eventually they would need all the weapons they could get. "I know you'll make the best weapons ever," he told Tyson, "and I'll bet they'll tell good time, too." Tyson sniffled.
"Brothers help each other."
"You are my brother," Percy told him. "No doubt about it." Then Tyson gave him a super tight hug and felt a little teary-eyed. And Percy almost felt it too.
"Use the shield well,"
he said. "I will, big guy," Percy told him.
"Save your life someday,"
Tyson said. The way he said it in such a so-matter-of-fact type of way, Percy wondered if that one eye of his could see into the future. Tyson headed down the dock and whistled. Rainbow, the hippocampus, popped out of the surface. Percy watched the two of them ride off together into the realm of Poseidon once more. Percy couldn't help feeling sad. He knew Tyson would have an awesome time under the ocean, but he would still miss everything about him. His fascination with horses, the way he could fix things or tie bad guys into knots, he would even miss Tyson snoring like an earthquake in the middle of the night. "Hey, Percy," Annabeth called. "It's time for dinner." So he led them back to the Poseidon table, and all three of them enjoyed their dinner together just like old times. Thanks to the Golden Fleece's powers to restore the magical borders, everyone managed to sleep through the night. Percy had another dream that night. He saw Tyson in front of him and gestured him to follow him through an underwater court. He followed him into a throne room, and in the middle of the room sat his father, Poseidon. He was just the same as Percy first saw him a year ago, with his tan skin, black messy hair and beard, and sea-green eyes just like his own. He was dressed in that same Hawaiian shirt and beige pants from before. As he held up his trident, Percy listened as he said two simple words. "Brace yourself." Then Percy woke up with the sound of banging at his cabin door. Grover flew in without even waiting for permission. "Percy," he said, "Annabeth, on the hill, she's... He was so stunned and so out of breath, but the look in his eyes told Percy something was seriously wrong. She's lying there, just lying there," he told Percy. After getting some clothes on, Percy followed Grover, and they raced to the hill where a crowd had gathered in front of the tree. Something big had happened. "Curse the Titan Lord," Chiron said. "He's tricked us again, giving himself another chance to control that prophecy." "What do you mean?" Percy asked. The fleece has worked too well, Chiron said. It healed the tree, and did a little more than that. Percy looked over at the tree. It looked perfectly healthy, and the fleece was still there. But below the tree, next to Annabeth, was a girl, lying unconscious. She had black hair and a punk-style outfit. Percy knelt down right next to the girl and put his hand on her forehead. Just from that one touch, Percy knew somehow whether or not she was a camper, she was in fact a half-blood. He tried to sit her up. "She needs nectar," he said. But everyone stayed back and still in shock. No one, not even Chiron, had moved. "Come on," Percy yelled. "What are you waiting for? Help me!" Then the girl coughed and opened her electric blue eyes. "Who?" the girl said, with a wild-eyed look. "It's okay. You're safe now," Percy said. "Strangest dream. Dying," she said. "No, you're okay. My name's Percy. What's your name?" That's when it hit him. He knew her answer before she even said it. From that point, Percy knew what the whole quest was about, and what Chiron meant about Kronos having a chance to control the prophecy. Kronos had tricked them. He planned the entire thing. The girl Percy was holding would be destined to either become his best friend or his biggest enemy. "I'm Thalia," she mumbled, "daughter of Zeus."